So like I pretended to go back to my seat and
Mm-hmm.
then went around the aisle of chairs and like started creeping up behind him. And I remember the class like looking at me like, what the heck are you doing? And
Whoa.
then my friend Clay on the other side of the room, because I didn't do this alone,
Right.
he stood up and the kid saw him and pointed the gun at him. And by that time, I was like right behind him. So I grabbed his arm, grabbed the gun, and just slammed him against the table and the wall um, on the other side of or just on that side of the room. And then everyone screamed and freaked out. And I guess the teacher was like fumbling with the keys, not actually up locking it. So everyone ran out. Some people
Wow.
ran all the way to the parking lot. Some people ran all the way to the road, stopped cars, and like got
Mm.
in cars and took off.
Whoa.
And yeah, but luckily the teacher who did run out the back, God bless her wherever she is, but she did get help. Like she did so the police were on their way.
Right.
But when this happened, I had done is grabbed him, slammed him, and we were fighting. And then Clay, the one who stood up, had run around that side of the room and jumped on me and him. So we
Mm-hmm.
had six hands on the gun, and then
What?
we fought for like 8 minutes, and I was,
What?
yeah, it was brutal. I blacked out
Yeah.
for a lot of that. Like it was just pure adrenaline, but and also I was 15 and
Yeah.
I barely remember, but I don't remember it right after. Like I remember we have a I don't want you to jump ahead, but we have a good friend who was actually the parole officer that like brought him into who was there, showed up, put him in his car and took him and he was like he had the absolute ish beat out of him. Like
Oh, yeah.
he looked
Well,
a mess. But I don't remember that. I
right.
don't. I
Right.
don't remember any of that. So I yeah, we fought for like 8 minutes and we tore up the whole side of the classroom, knocked the thermostat off the wall, and um everyone else had sort of run out. And then a campus security officer ran in who was
Mm-hmm.
not armed, um,
Yeah.
and grabbed the gun and ripped it out of all three of our hands. And I guess the cops were following him because they came in right after
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and then subdued him. But I I remember I got one good hit in on out of
Mm-hmm.
fury. Like they sort of like knocked me back, and then I went in and just hit him as hard as I could. And
Right.
he's honestly the only person I've ever hit in my life.
You saved
Um,
it up for the right person, right situation. If
is
there's going to be
there?
one person you punch, that's a really good one. I mean,
Yeah,
wow, this is crazy. I mean, keep going. I'll have questions eventually, but I just want to get to the end of
I'm
this
excited.
part. Yeah, yeah,
I love answering questions.
yeah.
So yeah, then the cops like pulled me out. I had longer hair, and they grabbed me by the hair and like took me out of the
Mm-hmm.
room, and then we just sort of broke down outside. And then they put the school on lockdown, and um, nothing was really processing. It was just
Yeah,
pure shock. And then
yeah.
I remember they took us to the office, like one of the offices, and locked us up in there. And I was just shaking, and my hand was all red, and I could actually see like the logo or something. I remember seeing something, the indent from the gun shape in my hand, and it stayed there all day. Like I was like, I had
Whoa.
gripped that thing so hard. I was like, oh, I forgot to say this. As we were wrestling, the gun came up to my face because I was over his shoulder more than like twice. I remember looking at it and being like, okay, like this is it. I mean, it was pretty terrible. And the police also said the way we were fighting, it doesn't make any sense that the gun didn't go off. Safety was
Mm.
off, it was loaded and cocked, and it should have,
Oh
just
my
with the
God.
slamming and stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
it should have gone off.
And it never went
So
off, not once.
not once.
Wow.
No.